How do I live more active life outside of my purposeful exercise? I consider myself an active person. Kind of. I can run a 10k. I go to the gym thrice a week. And that's really it. Outside of when I intentionally exercise, I'm pretty sedentary. On the days I don't run, I struggle to hit 5,000 steps a day, let alone 10,000. I'm not overweight, my blood pressure is fine, but I don't feel like my lifestyle is really healthy. Certainly, a fit person does more than just work out and lay around. I've made a conscious effort to get to 10k steps a day and I've done well the last 2 weeks. Today, however, it rained and I did virtually nothing except go to the gym. How do I lead a more active lifestyle outside of the gym? Yes, I go hiking and swimming and stuff, but all of those still feel like planned exercise. How do I get more active without intentional exercise? I would focus less on the exercise portion of health and focus on other habits. You've built a foundation for a healthy physique. Your heart, lungs, and weight are in check and healthy. I'm sure your strength is above average going to the gym 3 times a week. Perhaps it's time to start working on creating other healthy habits. Your diet is important. Alcohol or nicotine consumption can be cut if you smoke or drink. Mental health is important. If you're feeling like doing more physical work is the step you need to take to be healthier. Why? Is it because you feel like you're not doing enough? Or do you actually want to pick up an active hobby? If you want to find an active hobby, start joining different activities around your area and see what you like. To me, if I'm able to take care of my body's physical health by being able to run a 10k and exercising 3 times a week, I'd say that's enough. If you have your diet in check as well as your mental health, you should be living a much healthier life than most people. If all of these things are check, evaluate the need to continue to push yourself to do more. Is it because you want to, or because we live in a society that pushes us too much to do more? Rest is good too. If you're looking for ways to do more on your off days, yoga, parking further, taking stairs, walking a dog, those are all things that can be added to increase physical activity. Maybe what you're looking for might not be physical, maybe you need a hobby that gets you out and about. It might not be physical, but you're doing something other than lounging around. Very thoughtful answer. Left me with a lot to consider when assessing my goals. My wife and I go for a 30-minute walk after dinner. It's a nice get out of the house activity. Our usual route is about 3k, and if we find ourselves approaching a steps goal we will add a little extra loop around the neighborhood. Good activity on many levels. I also like to go for a walk on my lunch break. Gets me out of the office. Breaks up the day. Plus there's a nice park along my route where I'll occasionally see some turtles, a heron, etc. My wife and I go for a 30-minute walk after dinner. Quite aside from the physical benefits, a side-by-side leisurely walk with your spouse does wonders for keeping lines of communication open after years and decades of being together. My parents have been married for 41 years, and my dad swears by it as excellent marriage glue from the year they started going strolling together. Park further away. Always take the stairs. Go to your local park and play pickup games. Park further away. Less stress because there's always parking spots in the back, and you don't have to worry about as many people walking by you while you're trying to park. Pull out. I do this all the time and have for years. Once in a while I will have a passenger with me that just freaks the duck out as I pass by closer available spots. Awesome, there's a spot. What? You went right by. Okay, here is another. Wait, did you not see that? Okay, this isn't too bad. What are you? The duck. Why are we so far away? Yeah, downside of this tippies, when you start dating someone and they get mad that you've parked so far away. Now when I try to accommodate her I find my finding a closed parking space in a busy lot muscle has atrophied. LOL. Score some points by offer to drop her off near the entrance while you go park the car and do the walk. And the same thing when you leave again by picking her up from the entrance. You get your walk. She gets hit near entrance park and everyone's happy. I think the real answer is that there's no special sauce here. If you tried, I imagine you could sit down and write up all the answers you're going to get in this thread for yourself. Consciously take up more active hobbies. There's a million options of varying intensity. From team sports and adventure sports, to taking the kids to the beach instead of the cinema and fill up your free time with them. Drive less, get yourself a bicycle for running basic errands, or just walk more. If you're in a city, look at how you can commute to work without a car. Make a conscious effort to add in those macro sessions of exercise. Fitness trackers are very good for this. Taking the stairs instead of the lift. Taking frequent breaks at a sedentary job to walk around and wake yourself up a bit. Set more athletic goals instead of body weight, body composition or aesthetic goals. Set lofty athletic goals and gear your training towards hitting them. Running a marathon, cutting a minute off your 10k time, cycling 200 km, completing a triathlon, swimming a mile, etc, etc. Obviously a much more extreme one, but probably the one that'll make the largest difference. Take up a more active day job. Base activity level of a bricklayer versus a software engineer is simply not comparable. And no amount of stairs instead of escalator is going to make up that difference in aggregate of a lifetime. But obviously, manual laborers can still be hugely unhealthy, and they've got their own health concerns to worry about. Obviously the first two are 90% of the battle. If all your hobbies involve a screen of some sort, and your job involves sitting at a desk, then without effort your lifestyle isn't going to be particularly active. Personally, I think if the choice is between physical and less physical job, you'd be better off taking the less physical job and keeping yourself shape in your free time. Of course, this depends on how much time the job takes and how much free time you can devote for physical exercise. Many physical jobs are very repetitive, which in the long run causes all kinds of problems. To be fair, sedentary jobs are also extremely repetitive, and in the long term also cause all kinds of problems. That's the thing about your health as you age. There isn't really a fix. Eventually you're gonna get old and problems will start to mount one way or another. Sure, if you're a tiler and do nothing but lay tiles 9 hours a day for 45 years, you're likely to acquire a knee or hip injury. But is that better than being a software engineer for 45 years and perpetually sitting while stressed? It's quite hard to know, to be honest. I think there's tons of active jobs out there which are not associated with occupational injuries, which are also very active. Postal workers, bartenders, gardeners, general contractors, etc. Sure, of course it depends a lot on the job and person. No matter how good and healthy job it is, if they don't enjoy it, it won't last. But my thought process was that it'd be easier to find less physical job that owned enjoy and then do enjoyable physical exercise in the free time. Deciding to take 10k steps is planned exercise, and that's why you feel bad for not doing it, man. That isn't a lifestyle change. If it's bad to do 6,000 steps instead, it's a lifestyle change. Be on your feet more. Go for a walk during your work breaks and call a friend or family. Take your coffee on morning walks. Walk to the grocery store. Go for a swim because it's fun, not because it's a workout. Get a dog. You will feel guilty if you don't walk twice a day. My dog looks so sad if we miss a walk. I can't even handle it. The amount of time I spend getting up and down for things with the dog, running around the yard, being goofy, playing with the dog, going on hikes, walking, going to the beach, etc. Huge factor in my outdoor time. Try fencing. It's fun, it's active, and the mental part of trying to stab another person while avoiding them stabbing you will make you forget all about the cardio you're getting. Very asymmetrical on the body. I wouldn't recommend it. Source: spent 4 years fencing at uni. Have mess up ankle. I found a standing desk at work very helpful. It iced not only the obvious extra energy used to stand, it also seemed to give me energy. When I had a chair I felt glued to the desk. That barrier disappeared with the chair. Made me a better manager too because I was not leading through email. I was going to suggest this. Not sure what OP does, but I just switched from a job where I was on my feet all day to a work from home desk job. My standing desk is a shit. I concentrate better and don't get as foggy from staring at my screen all day. 1. Walking more if possible. To the gym, grocery store, the dog, etc. 2. Gardening and moving the lawn, generally making your outside more beautiful. 3. Biking or walking to work. at a nice leisure pace. For DIY repairs or craft, maybe you need to paint a room, change the oil on your car, build a fence, etc. Don't do a task with a machine if a manual method is available. Manual grinder for coffee. Wash your car by hand instead of the car wash. Knead bread instead of using KitchenAid. Scythe to cut your lawn. Scythe to cut your lawn. I'll hold at this. We have a big yard and considered getting a couple ourselves. Once you get good at it, you can cut the lawn in the same time as the mower. Gave up trying to find the style we wanted, so still using the mower. I did spend an hour raking up grass clippings. If people have a small yard, a reel mower is also a good option. I love mine. It's quiet, very little maintenance, and no chance of running out of gas or battery. Yes, I think when our mower finally kicks, that could be the option. We had one of those when I was a kid. Can you ride your bike to work? I've had a good experience doing this when I was able to. You can listen to an audiobook while you do it too. This, adding 5-10 miles of daily biking, doesn't feel too strenuous, but it adds up to a significant amount of activity over the week. Making it part of your commute and daily routine means it won't be disrupted by whether you have the time motivation to go play some sport, and you'll build a strong baseline fitness. Agreed. I commute to work and commuted to school by bike. I always feel better from this too. It even feels weird on days off, like something is missing. Always take the stairs, never the elevator. Park at the farthest parking spot in the lot. Take walk breaks at work. Get a dog and take it for walks. I keep a basket in my living room with all my yoga equipment, bands, foam rollers, squash balls and other little fitness gimmicks that I've picked up over the years. When I'm feeling stiff, bored or 3 hours into binge watching some show, it's right there in my face and easy to grab. I don't do a lot. I wouldn't even call it accessory work. I just do little mobility exercises and stretches that keep me from feeling like a couch potato. Rest is very important too. I would play 3-4 times a week and do around 16k steps on those days, but do like 4-6k on other days. I started playing 4 times a week and getting from 11k steps, i.e. sedentary days, became higher on AVG one month to 12k the next month, 13k the next, then 14k. Boom. Injury in November. Haven't been right since. Barely could walk for the last 2 months. I'd say going up 1k steps a day in per month is pretty gradual, but the right foot certainly didn't like it, as is due for an MRI tomorrow. Tread carefully when increasing volume. Literally. I feel like I must have wrote this in my sleep, because it is exactly where I'm at in life. I work out 3 times a week, run a few times a week and a 10k every other week. I have a step counter to get to 8,000. I almost always fail the step counter. Every weekend I battle with getting to a hiking trail. Here's what I'm doing. I make a conscious effort to leave my office and walk outside. I try to visit other people in the office. In between MLs is a medium-sized building. Takes a little walking. I walk my dog. And most importantly, try to never sit while at home until the day is over. On the weekends, I plan to get out of the house and go to the farmer's market, Target, or any other shop just to walk around and be out. Also, I have a stand-up paddle board that I take to the lakes when in season. But that's about it. I hope to hear some more advice too. Hope some of this rambling helps. That's about it. I would say you're more active than 90% of people. That's just a sign of how little everyone else does. I skateboard. That's pretty fun and active. Works great for cardio and develops significant functional strength in the legs. I also snowboard during the season. It can get expensive getting chairlift tickets though. Also recommend buying your own board and boots if you make a habit of it and hit slopes for like 8 hours a day. Probably shouldn't advise this, but once I get about 4-5 natty lights in me, I'll walk for about 11 miles in a day. Wear a sturdy pair of shoes too. I also golfed with a friend a few times who put his clubs on a wheeler and walked the whole front 9. Good exercise. Took quite a while though. I'd also try getting a boxing heavy bag. I've been hitting that the past year and developed a pretty solid left hook. I play ping pong with my family quite often, and that always breaks a sweat. Looking to get into court tennis. I'm really keen on getting into airsoft matches. No doubt that'd condition our fitness. I also flip merchandise at farmers market 3-4 times a week. Requires you to stand outside for 4-6 hours, usually under a harsh Sunday. I heard construction can be pretty good too. I'd seriously give biking a shot. A 6-7 AM bike ride. Just hitting trails for 15 miles can be so refreshing and invigorating. Sorry for it being so long. I find these activists fun and active and thought it'd be useful sharing. I really wanna try competitive airsoft though. In my mind I find it thrilling to be in a gill suit camouflaged for hours just picking off bastards. Also, a extremely helpful piece of advice I heard from a Marine was that you only really need 5 or 6 hours of sleep if you're young and healthy. For the past few months I've been setting my alarm for 5:30 am and getting a head start with either a 30-minute walk or bike ride. Main way would be to get an active job or hobbies. A job where you're on your feet for 8 hours a day will certainly help with step count. If not a job, then join a martial art club or take up tennis or any sport. Go hiking, kayaking, rock climbing on days off instead of watching TV. You can invest in a walking pad and do things like scroll through your phone or watch YouTube or whatever while walking on it instead of while sitting. Find a sport you can play for hours without getting bored. Even better if you have friends who play that sport as well. I like jogging and biking and stuff, but soccer is an amazing workout that I can do for hours and not get bored. Chasing the ball, competing with others, a team game. So fun. So OP. I would agree that sports, team sports, especially, are a good way to get a workout, and that is super fun and social as well. That's literally all I do as well. Play football, soccer for hours. Tennis league, running club, martial arts studio, ballroom dancing. If you enjoyed this video and want more fitness related content, click subscribe and hit the notification bell.